When you understand what motivates people, that puts you in a position to get more done. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, lead, and we inspire. And last time we got together, we were reviewing tidbits from a book called 59 Seconds by a professor named Richard Wiseman. I love that name, Richard Wiseman. I mean, the universe is telling you got to read what this guy says. His name is Richard Wiseman, and he does have some really, really neat things. And since we're here to educate, lead, and inspire, I've got several more. I want to go over them with you. They're really, really neat things, okay? Encouraging people to consider how they would like to be remembered after their death has various motivational benefits, including helping them to identify their long-term goals and assess the degree to which they are progressing towards making those goals a reality. So if you say to someone, so tell me, let's say you were writing your own obituary, how would you like it to read? What accomplishments do you want to be remembered for in your life? How far along are you towards achieving those accomplishments? Does that make sense? And you get, it's kind of a neat way to get people to think. I frequently ask people to write their own obituary for that exact purpose. So that's not something that was new to me, but it's kind of a good mental exercise to help people to get on the right track. Eli, here's one especially for you, and I know this one's true, okay? To help promote the chances of a successful date, choose an activity that is likely to get the heart racing. The theory is that your date will attribute their racing heart to you rather than the activity, convincing themselves that you have that special something. And boy, is that true. You know, I remember this one particular flight attendant that I wanted to make friends with, and I didn't know her super well, and spoke to her for a while and found out that she liked to go roller skating, and I had never gone roller skating before. And if you haven't gone people do the thing with the rollerblades now, but back in my day there was roller skating, and I took her roller skating, and just getting the heart pumping and everything. Well, by the time we were at the end, we were smiling, we were laughing. It was just absolutely great. And let me carry that over more also to the business side of the balance sheet. One of the things that I like to do when I'm speaking in front of a group of people is to get people jumping up, jumping down, jumping up, jumping down, not jumping, but getting up, getting down, and getting them heavy breathing, getting them exerting themselves. And then when they're done with that, that's the first thing I always do. I say, let's do this. And I get them up and moving. And then when they're done, they've established, a new physical state instead of like just sitting there like this. Okay, what's Eli's dad going to tell us today? They're up, they're listening, their heart's pumping, and they equate their heart pumping with me, the speaker. So it's kind of a good tool to understand is when you get someone's heart racing, heart pumping, then they associate that with you on a subconscious level. Surrounding yourself with objects that remind you of your partner is good for your relationship. This one also I want to apply to the business side of the balance sheet. Absolutely, when you have pictures of the spouse, the children, I mean, a great picture of Eli with me, and it just keeps it in your mind. So when you see it, it's in your mind, it's in your face. And you want to do the same thing with your goals. The reason that yellow stickies were invented, this is my theory, is so that you could write your goals on a yellow sticky and put it on the refrigerator or put it on the mirror in your bathroom so that they're in your face, or on the windshield or in your car. You want to put these things in your face. So anything that you constantly have in your face stays on the front burner. So you want to have, once again, there's three sides to the balance sheet. What do people do? They put, religious artifacts on their mirrors. When you have pictures of your family. And on the business side of the balance sheet, when you have your goals there, they're in your face. They're always on your mind. That's exactly the way you want them. People are far more likely to agree to a big request if they have already agreed to a small one. If you are any kind of a salesperson, this is the golden rule. One of the things that we teach as sales trainers, as salespeople, is the definition of a sale is taking a person from point A to point B by asking a series of logical questions where the answer is always yes. So you start off, you get a little yes, you get another little yes. Yes, 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 yes. Two things. One, it gets the person going like this, like a bobblehead doll, all right? And then when you ask the big question, you get the rhythm, all right? So you get the little agreements. We call them tie downs. What you're doing is you're making a statement and you're tying the client down. Yes, I agree with that. Great, let's go to the next thing. Yes, I agree with that. And each step that you take makes common sense. And so when you get to the end and you have to make the big decision, that becomes a common sense decision as well. Because all of the little things that you said that got you there, you have agreement. Does that make sense? All right? When making straightforward decisions, stick with the conscious mind by thinking about the pros and cons and assessing the situation in a rational, level-headed way. However, for more complex choices, try giving your conscious mind a rest and letting your unconscious work. This is something that we have preached from this pulpit over and over and over again. You want to go through things, you want to trial and error. This works, this didn't work. You want to insert logic. But sometimes you get stuck. So what do you do when you get stuck? You ask for help. How do you ask for help? You visualize the final outcome of your burning desire of what it is you want to achieve. You don't include all of the failures. All you include in your visualization is achieving the end result. Before you cross the border from consciousness to sleep, paint that picture, send that vibe out there so that the universal partner knows what it is you want to accomplish. And in many cases, the universal partner will respond in bits and pieces with little clues, sometimes the whole solution. Sometimes it'll be a scenario that you couldn't predict or plan. But get that a magnificent obsession out there, unencumbered with things you've already tried that have not worked, so that the universal partner will see that picture and take all of the things that you know from your subconscious mind and then say, you know what, that fits in with what you're trying to do. Boom! There's a clue. Move forward with it. Does that make sense? Research shows that when most people look back on their lives, they tend to regret the things that they didn't do. Hello, Mr. Procrastinator. All right? Get out there, do some things. You're going to fail at something, so what? Sometimes the failures are the best things, because when you look back at them in a retrospective way, you say, boy, did I ever do something like that? Or if I didn't do that, I never would have gotten here. Get out and try things. Get out and do things. Don't have that fear of failure. No one really cares. Trust me. Nobody cares. So go out and do it. People don't count the misses. They count the hits. They don't count the times you strike out. They count the times you bring the runners home. That's where you want to be. To help spot possible shifts, this is a great one. Try establishing what researchers have referred to as an honest baseline. So before asking questions that are likely to elicit deceptive answers, start with those that are far more likely to make the person respond in an honest way. During these initial answers, develop an understanding of how they behave when they're telling the truth by looking at their body language and listening to the words that they say. Then, during the answers to the trickier questions, watch out for their behavioral changes. Do you ever see on TV or in person a good attorney starts off with a witness that is sort of an adverse witness, and they start off by asking easy, simple questions, get the person in a rhythm, and then when they get to the more difficult question, you can see the person tense up, or you see that there's a pause. Then you're in a position to make judgments about that. Well, the same thing works in a business scenario. Let's suppose you're trying to find out something, to get an idea, to get some input. So you start by asking simple questions that are easy. As a matter of fact, the people that are trying to brown nose will answer those questions right away, okay? And the people that are the smart people will just kind of sit there and let the brown nosers answer the questions, all right? But you ask simple questions. And then when you start to get to the more difficult questions, you're going to find that the people that were raising their hand, the whole time, they're excited, I want to show you that I know something, they're the ones that tend to be quiet. And the people that are the deep thinkers, the smarter people, they're the ones that are going to come to the forefront. And Eli, the same thing works when you're raising children. If you want to find something out, you start off by asking easy, simple questions. And then when you get to the trickier questions, the more difficult questions, when you're trying to figure out about the behavior of your loving son, then you'll notice a change in body language, a change in tone, a change in attitude. And so it's kind of a good practice. Once again, this is stuff that you need to know that's just going to help you to achieve more. Research shows that people have a strong tendency to underestimate how long a project's going to take, and that people working in groups are especially likely to have unrealistic expectations. It seems that to get an accurate estimate of the time needed to complete a project, you need to look at how long it took to finish broadly similar projects in the past. Those who carried out the mental unpacking produced estimates that proved far more accurate than other participants. Keep that in mind. When you're in a group setting and especially if you're the leader and you're trying to, get a particular new policy moving forward, and you're saying, okay, we need to kind of set up a schedule, a time frame, how quickly this is going to get done or how long it's going to take. What you're going to find is that typically the group will shorten the really amount of time that it's going to take, and they don't do it consciously. They do it because they really think that's what the case is going to be. But you need to take a look at other projects that were similar to the one that you want to get off the ground and see how long it took, and figure that it's probably going to take about the same amount of time. Why? Murphy's Law. Because you can't figure out things that are going to happen, and when you least expect it, something's going to go wrong. It's just the way life is. You want to have a positive attitude, but you also want to be realistic about achieving results. And when you're in the business mode and you have to identify how much time something's going to take, because it could be, the costs involved, as an example, for both time and money, then you want to make an accurate assessment of what you're going to need time-wise. Does that make sense? So keep in mind, if you ask the group how long it's going to take, they're going to shorten it. So you need to extend it just a little bit. All right, so we've gone over a number of things. I strongly recommend that you read this book. It's called 59 Seconds by Richard Wiseman, and he is always quoted, not just on this book. This is one of his books. He's always quoted for other things that, you know, behavior of people, and it's very, very interesting, very funny. So I once again want to give a shout out to Professor Richard Wiseman. And because we will never end a meeting on a philosophical note, let's all get out there and charge! I'm Eli's dad.